Truth doesn't have little bits of lies in it to make it more true. Truth is just the truth. Truth is, it's absolute. And there doesn't need to be like a little sprinkles of boo-boo inside of it to make it more real, to make it more true. Truth is just truth. And this is why when you see people who accept little portions of the woke ideology, well, they know little bits of it might be true, but there seems to be a big old freaking lie in the middle of it. It's like, well, how do you pick out the good pieces and the bad? Well, how do you pick the sprinkles off of a big pile of dog poop and eat it? Right? You don't eat it. You freaking let it go. You throw it in the trash completely, and you start over again. That's what you do. That's what you got to do with this woke stuff, this woke ideology. You have to throw the whole fed and mess freaking back into where it belongs, in the heap of freaking trash, back into hell. And this is why, because they're trying to feed you and me this supposed woke idea that's couched in some what they would call some truths, but those truths are actually sprinkled on a big piece of freaking dog crap. The big piece of dog crap is a truth about people, about white people, about black people. Okay, they believe the woke ideology believes that white people have some sort of implicit or unconscious bias, even like Asians or Mexicans or blacks or whatever. You have some sort of unconscious bias that must be cured. You must be cured of your way of thinking. And what people on CNN and MSNBC and some of these other networks are saying, you need to be re-educated. Okay, you need to put you into a Chinese camp and get you freaking re-educated. Well, that's because they want you to buy into their boo-boo. And then what they'll do is they'll sprinkle little truths like, yeah, people can be racist, people can be bigoted, people can have these really bad ideas about others based off of some really jacked up things in their lives. Well, what they're doing is they're trying to paint this broad brush and swath over everything, ignoring that it's individual cases. Not all people. Not all people. That's why some of the woke movies, some of the woke capital and all that, you see people who aren't buying into it and just they're getting upset by it. And they have every right to get upset by it. You're going to tell freaking entire section of this nation that they're all a bunch of racists because of this, that stupid book, White Guilt, or any of the other bigoted racist ideologies that are coming from these very twisted people. So why is it important for you to understand that and know that? Well, you have to understand that the reason why you're having a hard time buying into this stuff is because you're not supposed to buy into it. In reality, you're not supposed to. What they're doing is they're trying to make you and force you to buy into it by forcing you into courses and subject matters and your jobs, by teaching it and forcing it, indoctrinating it into the workplaces, into your kids' schools as well too. They're force feeding it into people, because that's the way that they get you to conform, by re-educating you slowly over time. It's a communist method. Because I told you before, these people are freaking communists, okay? And I know some folks don't like me using the term. I really don't care. It is what it is. So that's what it is. It's a communist method of gaining power and in pushing an ideology that's actually false. Communists, when they actually came to the United States, they couldn't believe their eyes. They couldn't believe the wheat fields. They couldn't believe the farms. They couldn't believe the grocery stores. They couldn't believe the schools. They couldn't believe it. These people who were card-carrying communists from the Soviet Union, they came here as spies and realized, wait a minute, we're being lied to, okay? This is what happened too with the Russian Revolution. These people, they realized that not only did they kill their farmers, they killed the working class. What they did was they eliminated their ability even to make food, their ability even to manufacture, even to hold themselves up independently. Why do they do that? Because they were going through a cultural revolution, the same thing that's happening in China, that happened in China. And all these people died. They literally died. So when you point out the truth about the history with these communists, these democratic socialists, what they're doing is they're denying the truth of what actually did happen because they don't want that truth to get out there. But let me get back onto the main point. When woke ideology is pushed upon the people, what happens is these people, and something inside of them tells them that something's wrong. But people are scared to speak about it and to teach about it and to even read about it because they understand that there's a cost to it. Well, the same thing happened when people spoke out about the abortion industry forcing upon this nation through the ACA or Obamacare that everyone had to pay for abortions via taxpayer money. That's what they forced down. They force-fed it down the American people's throats. And they said that you have to eat this, you got to accept it, you have to be a part of this. The same thing that they're doing with this woke ideology, where they're teaching it to little children, they're forcing it upon employers, they're forcing it upon employees, they're making it and mandating it be taught as the truth when it's not the truth. It's a lie. And you have to be able to point out the lie, because even in churches, there are pastors out there. These people aren't pastors, they actually are they're group therapists, okay? That's all they are. They're group therapists who like to get in front of people and talk about their virtue and how good they are as individuals, when actually they're actually, and I'm gonna be real with you, these folks actually are the racists. They actually are the very bigoted racists. They have issues with men, they have issues with white people, they have issues with black people, they got issues with Asians, they got issues with Hispanics. These people are freaking the racists, okay? But they can't own that, because that would just bust their whole bubbles. That sucks for them, dude. But it's the truth, okay? So when you see these people who are like, when you see this writer, that writes the book White Guilt, okay, what she's actually saying is, I'm a racist white person and I'm trying to get over my racism, and I think that it would be better for me to point at you as the racist versus me actually going and doing work on my own personality and not trying to push this on other people as a mandate, okay? And then when people buy this crap, they're like, oh yeah, that sounds and makes sense. No, it doesn't. There's no sense in that crap, dude. Like, again, it's freaking crap sprinkled with rainbow sprinkles. So that's what it is, okay? This is what you have to be discerning about, is that these people have their own issues. Like, I've seen some so-called pastors that will talk about, you need to have certain amount of commentaries from black, white, rainbow, whatever people, and they're saying that because they do, they're a good person. Well, actually, what they're doing is they're admitting that they themselves have an issue with ethnicity, and they don't know how to deal with it. And so what they're doing is they're projecting out to other people their own bias, their own prejudice, their own racism, and they're trying to make it a group thing without realizing that they're outing themselves as the actual racists. Whether they be Asian, whether they be white or black, these people actually are outing themselves as actual freaking racists, okay? So this is why you can't buy into any of this crap. You can't buy into any piece of it, because what it does is it takes the entire mile. And this is how their sanctification, they're humanistic, and these are humanists. These people actually aren't Christian, they're not pastors, they're humanists. They actually are humanists. They want to do good, be good, smell good, feel good, and all that stuff. They want to be good without understanding who actual good is. They're not good. These people aren't good. These people are evil. And they've got evil in their heart. And they don't understand that the only way to rid yourself of that evil is by giving yourself and your life to Christ and getting past their own intellect and pride. That's actually what's happening with these people. They just can't face it. But they think that they're facing it by forcing other people to believe their crap. Okay? So how do you deal with it, and what is it, and how is it that you move through it without becoming a victim of this mess? Well, first off, you have to say no. You just have to reject it outright, okay? So you'll have women out there, you'll have men out there, whatever they want to call themselves, okay? They'll tell you what you should believe, and that you're a bad person for not believing it, for not accepting it, for not believing their ideas. Well, what you need to do is just tell them no. Just say no, okay? Seriously. And this is how inclusive you actually know that they are. When they lose their freaking minds, they blow their top, and they're not able to articulate anymore, but they can just call you a bunch of names, you know that you've actually won the argument. You don't even need to even get into a debate with it, okay? You just say no, okay? I don't believe your freaking liberal, crazy, progressive agenda, which is, by the way, I'm gonna give you like a real quick tip. Progressivism is actually regressive. This liberalism is actually constraining. And what these people that are anti-racist, they actually are racist, okay? These people actually are racist. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to make you out to be what they are so that they feel better about themselves. So they actually have a very low self-worth, low self-esteem. And the only way that they're going to get through that is actually via either real, true, giving over their life to Christ, giving over their intellect to Christ, giving over their pride and their prejudice of other people to Christ, or seriously sitting down with a therapist and admitting, yeah, I'm a freaking racist, I'm prejudiced, okay? That's the only way they're going to get through this stuff. So you just have to say no, and you have to believe your no, and you have to accept that you are not like them. You are not what they say that you are. You don't have to buy into it, and you shouldn't buy into it, because these are very unhealthy people who have and believe that they should have a platform. These are very unhealthy individuals. And so when you see individuals that want to tell you that, you need to buy into what their ideas are, understand that even if you do have some sort of thing in you that might be against other individuals based off of what they look like, their gender, their age, whatever, you can admit that to yourself and actually work on that without accepting their whole premise of, well, you need to apologize for this and that. You don't need to do that, okay? You don't need to do that. All you need to do is actually just change your mindset. I mean, it's pretty simple. You ain't got to go around apologizing to every black person that you meet, every Asian person that you meet. If you actually are a misogynist, you ain't got to be freaking trying to, be all inclusive of this gender freaking new nonsense. All you got to do is actually just change your way, okay? And the best way to change your way, the only way you're going to actually change your way and character from the inside, is actually by giving your life to Jesus. I mean, it's pretty dang simple, because the one who reconciles souls isn't just trying to reconcile skin. The soul is a reconciliation, not just the skin, not just the gender, not just the whatever these people are trying to whatever. That means it's Monday, the 23rd of February, so there might be something new there. Trying to reconcile grass to weeds. I don't know, whatever. These people are freaking crazy. So just take this as a big hint and direction and guidance. Just say no, okay? Like the old Ronald Reagan, Nancy Reagan. Just say no from the 80s. Just say no to this crap. Because believe me, if you give an inch anywhere in this stuff, they'll take a mile of your intellect, they'll take a mile of your religiousness, they'll take a mile of all of the things inside of you that make you you as an individual. And what they want to do is conform you by forcing you, by making you into who they want to mold you into, because that's who they are. These people have very weird ideas about the world. They have very weird ideas about themselves. And the only way for them to actually deal with it is by making everybody else around them weird. Take care.